important topic to talk about because if anyone is fooled into thinking that life is supposed to be a joyride the whole way, you will be like, you will.
Guess what?
It's not like that. You don't want to have those expectations. You want to be able to actually get some joy out of moments that are not typically seen as joyful, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. You've done some research for us.
Yeah, so some really interesting data, and this is probably not going to surprise any of us, but Psychology Today actually said that 30 to 90% of us will feel bored at some point throughout the day.
Bored?
Yeah, bored.
I pray for boredom.
Yeah.
I'm never bored because there's always something happening. But boredom
your life is very, there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot going on. So for most of us, it's like 30 to 90% will feel at some point.
Yeah.
And the reason that this is worth discussing is because life science actually says that boredom has actually also been linked to negative outcomes from things like anxiety, depression, mistakes on the job.
Really?
Yes. Even things like in terms of like dropout rates in terms of for school.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting because in our house, we have a list of words that are off limits. We don't call them swear words, we call them off limits. Boredom is actually one of them.
Really?
We actually do not allow our kids to say the word boredom.
And why don't you?
Well, because if you're bored, we're living in a society right now where everybody wants to be entertained. And I think it's really important for children to learn how to self-entertain themselves.
Good point.
Right? So I think, so boredom is a feeling, it's a feeling, but there's things that we can actually do about it. And I think that's why this topic is so important.
That's such
It's so important. So you want to find the joy. We're really talking about how do you find the joy in things that are mundane, that are unstimulating, right? And so that's the focus.
I like to look at life as a bunch of joyful moments that can be sort of strung together.
Yes.
And so little things I find bring me a lot of joy. Taking a hot shower every day is every day joyful for me. Every single time I get to do it, I feel happy about it.
And it's functional. You got to do it anyway.
Functional. And I'm clean.
And then you smell good.
Yes, it's amazing. So let's talk a little bit about how we can start to look at mundane things as joyful things.
Yeah, so tip number one is I want you to kind of get creative in finding the joy. Okay, get creative. I really believe that so much around our life and happiness and being joyful starts right here. It starts with our mind and our thought process, right? So if we think that that life is going to be all joyful by itself, it's not going to be. So we have to therefore kind of look for it. We've got to look for it. We've got to be strategic about it. And I think I don't want people to just kind of settle like, well, this is just the way life is. Like, no, let's not tolerate. Let's actually do something about it. So I think the first thing is realize it starts here, and let's really make it a goal to start finding the joy in things that are actually mundane.
Okay.
So it starts
be intentional.
Here. Be very intentional.
Okay. All right.
All right. Tip 2. You ready? This is a fun one. Get out a pen and paper. Everybody at home, get out a pen and paper. And here, everybody in the audience, I want to think about this as well. I want you to make a list of all the things that you really should be doing, but you don't really love it. Okay, make a list. It could be things like commuting to work, laundry. It could be cooking. It could be visiting with family. It could be doing anything you want. And make a list. So that's what you're going to do. Tip number 2 is you're going to make a massive list of things that you should do, like exercising. Things that you should do, but you don't really love it.
Got it.
Okay, so that's what you're going to do. Get a little pen. Okay.
So you make the
list. Now this is where it gets fun. This is where you really have to kind of put on your mindset. Tip number 3 is what I call our technique, we called it piggybacking. Okay. Piggybacking is when you take something that is kind of boring or mundane and you piggyback it with something that is inspiring. Okay. So you piggyback it on top, and then what happens is, boom, you've actually got joy. So let me give you an example. I've shared on the show before that I do not like cooking. You do like cooking or no?
I hate it.
Yeah. Okay. So Tracy, you got to try my technique. Okay. So, but 2 years ago, I realized cooking is not. I find it very dull. It's boring. It's uninspiring. Yeah. So I thought about piggybacking. What could I do to make cooking, because it's functional. You have to eat. Yes. So I thought, okay, what do I find inspiring? I find inspiring things like around having a clean kitchen, great cookbook. So I did 3 things. Yeah. I went and I bought myself a super cute apron. Okay, that's nice. Okay. So I got myself a super cute apron. Tip number 2 is I totally decluttered my kitchen. I got rid of a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't even know what was actually in there. Yes. And the third thing I did is I actually bought myself 3 cookbooks of chefs that I really, really love their stuff. Yeah. And all of a sudden, things that I was doing that was inspiring, all of a sudden my cooking, it's almost like the joy of the other things kind of trumps the mundane. And all of a sudden, if I was to have actually rated my joy in the kitchen, it would have been about a 2 out of 10, but 2 years ago, it's about like an 8 now.
And that has sustained you you? So you're still cooking now?
Yes. Like honestly, I cannot believe how simple this strategy is, and it literally changes it. Let me give you another one. You ready? Everyone's kind of interested. Think about cleaning your house. Okay, boring. What's something that you could do that is actually really inspiring, that actually changes it?
I dance or put music on.
Yes, exactly. So what you do, makes it better. You can also do it as a family, and so all of a sudden you're having a little bit of teamwork, and so what you do is you crank that music up as high as you can. Also, you're having a dance party while you're cleaning the toilets.
Right.
Yes. Who would have thought you could have joy in cleaning the toilets? Yes.
So you just try and make everything as fun as possible, but your version of fun.
Yes.
So your version of fun could be listening to a podcast.
When you're commuting. Excellent.
While you're commuting, but whatever you get joy out of, you pair that with the chore you don't want to do.
Yes.
And then you get a little bit more out of it.
You're doing it. You're doing it. You're doing it. You're piggybacking. And all of a sudden, things that we have to do anyway, why not be strategic about it? Because you know why this is important? It changes our mood.
It does.
Because all of a sudden we feel energized, and guess what? Our whole family will actually start paying attention to it.
I started piggybacking what you did with your boys, snacks with homework.
Yes.
It's like, oh my gosh!
Yes. I'm telling you, piggybacking is so
are
powerful.
So important.
Yes.
And they don't want to do their homework. You put the two together. It's like homework's fun.
Yes.
Because they're snacks.
Exactly.
So very good. Thank you for that. We want to be happy and joyful for sure, and grateful, right?
And
for this life we're living.